Okay, so hello everyone, I am Alyan and I am back again with very special guest. I have a
Okay,
very
so how
special
how
guest.
is that?
Should I introduce yourself first?
Yes, that'd be fine.
Okay, so my today guest is Mr. David. He is from Australia. He is an AI futurist, best-selling author. So welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. So, sir, before moving on the question, can you tell us about yourself and your journey from to becoming an AI futurist in Perth?
Yes, certainly. Well, so originally I am from Brisbane, which is on the east coast of Australia, but I reside in Perth and I get to travel. I have the privilege of traveling around the world, teaching people about AI and how to get started. So I guess really my journey has always been one of curiosity. I've always enjoyed new gadgets, new thinking, and I've always been curious about what is actually possible. So I guess that's really my background has never really changed. It's not a brand new thing of AI. It's how I've been all my life. It's just curious for new technology. So did you want me to continue on where I'm at now? Where would you like to go to from here?
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. So, my next question in your screen: what was the moment you realized AI was?
Okay, we might have a little bit of technical difficulty um, from your side. I can't see you. I'm not sure whether you can still hear me. That's the beauty of technology. It doesn't always play nicely. Let's just wait a little while and just see whether it comes back on again. Or we could treat it like a podcast and I could answer the question. Hey, technology doesn't always work well. But the question was really, what was the moment I realized that AI was going to change everything? And why do you say most people haven't seen the ocean yet? Where I'm referring to there is the first time I think I realized that AI was very powerful when saw that I could do things with using tools with not a lot of knowledge. Here we are, you're back again. Everything fine? Shall we continue?
Yes, please, and I am so sorry for the bugs.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. That's technology. You've got to get used to being flexible. That's the main thing. But to answer the question about when I realized that I could do things with not a lot of knowledge on some of the tools, that's when I really had a light bulb moment of what AI could do for other people. And that was the beauty of it. So when I talk about people not seeing the ocean, I sort of refer back to like a goldfish in a pond. It's pretty hard to explain how deep the ocean is to someone who hasn't fully realized the full potential. And I relate this back to AI that people have heard of ChatGPT and some of the more common ones, but they don't realize how deep you can actually go with AI. So that's where I'm going with that with that response. How else can I help you? Give me another question.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. So, you wrote a best-selling book called "Success Leap Trial." What's the core message behind it?
Yeah, okay. Well, that was one of my very first books, and that one actually went international bestseller. That was very simple. It was based on a three-step plan where you had to have, it was called Mindset, Mechanics, Mentors. And what that meant was that if you had the right mindset and attitude and you actually knew what it was that you wanted to achieve, then the rest of the formula is really easy. You know, the mechanics, the how-to information, that's readily available all over the world. Mentors, many people are willing to help you achieve. But it all starts with the correct mindset of knowing what it is exactly that you're trying to achieve. And the reason that's important is the fact that your energy comes from knowing what is important to you. If you're excited about that, then you'll get energy directly from that. So that's why mindset, mechanics, mentors, that's behind Success Leaves a Trail. And it really, it all starts with attitude and curiosity. That's where it starts. Okay. As an enrichment speaker, what does enrichment really mean? That's a good question because the word itself can be misunderstood sometimes. In simple terms, enrichment simply means leaving another person in a better state than what they were before you met them. And it might be education, it might be entertainment, it might be information. But enrichment basically is self improvement. And the way that I help other people is, yeah, sometimes I entertain them, but mostly I try and inspire them to be curious about what's possible. And that's my definition of enrichment. So, as an enrichment speaker, I really enjoy that. And I have the privilege of, yeah, traveling on cruise ships and all sorts of interesting places. So, that's what enrichment actually is. What other questions could I help you with? I know technology doesn't always play nicely, but that's okay. You've just got to learn to be flexible.
Yeah, I am so sorry for that. What should I do? But anyways, my next question in your screen.
That's okay. No problems at all. So if you can just put the question, well, I'll just keep going. That's fine. Don't stress about that. So your question there is how to explain AI to someone who is completely new, and you know, to students, and that it's very simple. And this is the way that I explain it. If you can imagine having someone, in this case, it's a virtual person, but having someone sitting next to you that is incredibly smart, way smarter than you are, and they've got a toolbox of all the right tools to use to help you achieve anything at all that you want to achieve. That's how I explain AI to beginners. That it's really like having someone next to you with all the right tools that can help you. All you've got to do is ask what it is you're trying to achieve. That's all you got to do. So that's it.
Thank you. Okay, so what are the biggest mistake people make when it's come to adopting AI in their lives or business?
Oh, biggest mistake. Yeah. Uh, Probably not acknowledging that AI exists. Now, let me explain. They've probably got two thought process about AI. Some people are very scared of AI. They have fear. Nobody likes change. Everyone likes progress, but nobody likes change. So those types of people are very scared of AI, and they put their head in the sand and they don't want to know anything about it, and they're frightened. So I think that's really the biggest mistake, because the reality is AI is here to change the world. You can't escape that. So my advice is for people to be curious. You don't have to adopt everything, but you do need to be aware, and you can't just hide from it. So don't make the mistake of saying, "Oh, it'll go away." It won't go away. It'll change, and it can actually help you if you have an open mind. So I think that's the biggest mistake: is not acknowledging it and not being curious enough to learn just a little bit about it.
Thank you. Okay, so you went from corporate business ownership to being a self-employed entrepreneur. What was that transition like?
Yes, I've owned businesses all my life. From the age of 21, I had my first oil and gas pipeline construction company, and entire my life I've had corporations, large corporations, ones I've tried to float on the stock exchange. All of them I found stressful. Maybe I didn't have enough AI. But the transition from going from a corporate world to being in contracting for certain large companies, very, very stressful. So my ambition now is to have a very simple, uncomplicated life. Yes, I'm still very entrepreneurial and I love the opportunities. I'm making the most of that. But I try and advise people to get life in balance, because when you're in a high stress corporate world or a business world, or you have a job working for someone, and your life is not in balance, if you don't have enough rest, or your health goes, or no, your finance, there is life can be out of balance. So my advice for people that have got a high stress job is, try and simplify it. Try and get your life more in balance, and yeah, it'll work a whole lot easier. I can guarantee that for sure.
Thank you. Okay, so what role mindset play in navigation digital change?
Okay. Well, the mindset is, as I mentioned before, the most critical part. But where you bring AI into it is the fact that technology is changing faster than most people's comfort zone. And that's the main problem. Uh, People's mindset can't keep up with what's possible. And so they get scared, or they don't make the use or the opportunities that's available, because their mindset is, this is the way we've always done it. I don't like change. And so they're not open enough in their mindset to take on board new information. And that becomes a problem, because they're missing opportunities and they're stressing themselves. They're trying to fight against, think they're going upstream when they should be going downstream. Yeah, with digital change. That's what it's all about.
Thank you. Okay, so how can young people in developing countries like Pakistan use AI build successful careers?
Oh, what a wonderful question. I absolutely, I still do a lot of teaching in an innovation college in Perth, and most of my students are from Pakistan, India, Nepal, and they ask me this question all the time. Look, it's a really simple question. Find out what you enjoy doing yourself, and then find the AI tools that can help you achieve that quicker. Now, and that's, I know that's a broad statement, but for instance, if you had a hobby, you could make money out of that hobby. You could build a business around that hobby or your interest with the tools that AI has available. You could. The biggest change, particularly in education, is that anyone at all with an internet connection, an AI outfit, and a good mindset, they have the same opportunity as Harvard University graduate student. Your absolute level playing field in the world, no matter what country you come from now, it's not dependent on your wealth or your status or your circumstances. You need an internet connection, a laptop, and a good mindset, and you can achieve anything, because education is readily available. Skills are readily available. So I get really excited from anyone that comes from any of the subcontinent countries, because wow, they can do anything. Just there's no limit, no limit at all. Whereas 10 years ago, it was a different story altogether.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Okay, so you talk about helping people navigate modern life with clarity. What does clarity mean to you practically?
Hmm. Hmm. Clarity means simplifying things. Now, I've got to be very careful here because there's a couple of skills you need to navigate AI. One of them is clarity and the ability to make decisions. Now, AI is incredibly clever. They've got tools out there. I work a lot with agentic AI agents and things. So they're all very clever. But unless you have clarity on what it is you're trying to achieve, whether you're working with an agent, AI, or a GPT or just anything, clarity is the starting point. What's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? It'll do it. They've got all the right tools to achieve anything. But if you don't have clarity, and that really tricks a lot of people up because they get overwhelmed. Oh, I can create video, I can create images, I can do this, I can do that. Why? They haven't thought out why they're trying to achieve that and what it is exactly. The what doesn't matter anymore. There's a tool out there that'll do that. But if you don't have clarity in the first place, yeah, that's a problem. So that's what I talk about, clarity. Really important.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. Okay, so what's one AI tool that every person should be using right now and why?
Hmm. Well, I guess I've got to say Chat GPT because that's the most important, most well known, most easily accessible um, tool out there. And I say that only because it's easy to access, it's well known. If you get into Claude, Claude also has a chat function. But I personally, particularly in the last 3 months, have merged more into agents and like Claude, for example. So a Claude co-work or something like that, where you don't have to set up a complete server. I think to answer your question, ChatGPT is your starting point, and then to learn what other tools are available out there and just play. You don't have to learn all the tools, but you do have to know what it is you're trying to achieve. And if it was like social media content, well, then you would find, video content and illustrations and things like that. So that would be my starting point. But don't forget agentic AI, the agents, because we've already seen the progress in the last 3 months. Give it another 3 more months, we won't be talking about ChatGPT. We'll be talking about here's an agent willing to help you. What do you want it to do? and that's it. That's where it's heading.
Thank you. Okay, so how do you balance the excitement of AI with ethical concerns around it?
Hmm. Because it is easy to get excited about it. I get, well, I can feel myself getting overwhelmed sometimes. So you do have to strike a balance between the excitement of what it can do. It's like all tools, and this is not new. Any brand new tool that's come into the world has a positive side. Good people will do good things with those tools. Bad people will do bad things with the same tools. So it always has the potential of both unintended consequences, negative consequences, and it can impact on a negative world, whether it be cybersecurity, whether it be all sorts of negative aspects. But that's always been the case. You give someone a rifle or a gun, they can do good things with it and bad things with it. So whilst AI is exciting, yes, we've got to acknowledge there should be human steps, particularly on automation, but human involvement in certain steps. You can't restrict it, but you can certainly have a little bit more oversight with it. And the bad people in the world, well, they're still going to do bad things anyway. So you've just got to learn how to, make it work for you and improve the world using those tools.
Thank you. Okay, so you are an educator. So how do you see AI changing the future of education?
Hmm. I've got to be careful here because I support education very much. As I said, I am an educator myself. There will always be a human element involved, a need for trainers, for teachers, for educators like myself to have a human involvement. And I say this because, yes, I know it, like the Alpha program in America, there's another one in England. They have a lot of AI education curriculums that are happening, and people say, well, we don't need teachers anymore because we can learn through AI. To a degree, that's really true because AI can teach a person their style of learning. If they're a visual learner, then they'll design an AI visual curriculum, auditory, but there will always be a place for human element of teachers to respond to the human element of students. But I get flat out excited because the education system is changing worldwide, and anyone has access to all the knowledge, which is not the case 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. Knowledge was only available. It was like gatekeep knowledge. Now it's available anywhere. You can learn anything. So I get very excited about education, but no, you can't quite take the human teachers out. I don't think.
Thank you, sir, for this answer. So, who has been your biggest mentor or inspiration in life?
Hmm. Well, I've promoted mentorship most of my life, and many years ago, I did connect with many um, people with the same philosophy as I had. But nowadays, not so much. It's more of a collection. And yes, I've got my favorite. Like Elon Musk has got to be one of my best favorites because Elon Musk thinks outside the box. And many people like him or dislike him. It doesn't matter. His thought process is revolutionary and different. So yes, I treat people like that. As a mentor. But you know what? I get really excited when I see teenagers like you guys or younger people out there. They are inspiring. I deal with 13-year-olds that are earning six-figure incomes at 13 years old. That to me is inspiring. It shows the world what is possible. And yeah, so as a mentor, it's not always who you would expect. Like, oh yeah, that old guy with all the wisdom and everything. No, it's the younger people in this world that have creative minds, creative ambition. That's what gets me excited. And I follow anyone with that line of thought. So I treat them as my mentors. I can learn a lot, that way. Age has got nothing to do with it.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful answer. Okay, so how do you define success, and has that definition changed over the years?
Defining success. Well, that's a very personal item. And it changes, I think, in my case, it has changed. Decades ago, it used to be about the achievement. It used to be about the shiny objects or the status or the money. Money should never come into success. Money is always a byproduct of success. A lot of people get that confused. They chase the dollars, and that's not true. Money is always a byproduct of success. But if you had to define success, it's creating a lifestyle that suits you at that time, right? Now, I go back decades, that lifestyle for me was a family. Family still means a lot to me, very, very much. But it was all about raising a family and that. Whereas nowadays, my success is a walk in the morning along a beach with no plans for the day other than what am I going to eat today? What am I going to learn today? That to me is success, which was a different definition 10 or 20, 30 years ago. So the answer to that question, it's a real personal journey. I think you should have balance in your life, that main part of success, and really living a lifestyle that suits you at the time. I think that's really true success, or it is to me anyway.
Yeah, I like that way. Thank you so much for your answer. So, if you could send one message to the next generation about AI and the future, what would it be?
Stay curious. Stay curious. Yeah. Because a lot of people, as I said before, they don't recognize it is here. Ask the questions, push the limits, see what is available, what is out there. But the message basically is to stay curious and open-minded. And AI is not perfect. It makes mistakes and all different things, but you learn by doing. And so my best advice, I suppose, is if you're going to start something, do it now, today. And you think, oh, I'm not ready. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough knowledge. I don't have enough skill. You can make a dozen excuses. Start today to achieve whatever it is you want to, even you're not ready. The reason I say that is because the learning is in the doing. You learn more by doing something. That's how I learn programs. I fumble my way through and I make all these mistakes. At the end of the day, hey, look, yeah, I achieved it. And I haven't been afraid to ask for help along the way. But a lot of people sort of hold themselves back. Oh, I don't have the confidence to do that, or I don't have the time to do that. They make all these excuses. Just do it. Just start. Get started today on whatever it is. That's my message to the next generation. And with AI, stay curious and open-minded. I think that's really well, that's my response anyway.
Yeah, thank you so much for this advice. So before ending this interview, I would like to ask my last question. So where can our listener follow you and learn from you and your work?
Okay, well, I only have a single brand out there. Years ago I used to have all different things, but no, just simply at my website, the davidbunney.com, davidbunney.com. That's where I write essays about the future. It's where all my talks are. From there, you can launch into all my social media platforms. Um, you'll get my message. You just go to davidbunney.com, and yep, and that's it. Pretty simple.
Yeah, thank you so much. So thank you so much, Sir David, for your valuable time and sharing your wisdom. And I am so sorry for the bugs and difficulties you faced uh, because of me. Thanks so much, and I am so sorry.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time to invite me on because I love sharing my knowledge. I love sharing inspiration to other people. And that's that. So you've given me that opportunity, and I thank you very, very much. After this call, I wouldn't mind also sharing. I have an AI book called the AI Red Book, which lists all the programs that I'm currently using for the tasks that I do. And I'm happy to give that to free to any of your listeners out there. And it's simple. It's the airedbook.com/free, but I'll send you the link and you can put that out there. I'm happy to give that away and then you get that updated every month. So, but again, thank you very, very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Sir David. I will definitely check. Thank you so much.